First person in Supercross 4. Wanted to come in here and check out this specific feature of the game because I know that with MXGP 2020, they've seemed to kind of start to improve on this whole first person side of things. I know that, there for a minute, right around that like MXGP Pro, Supercross 2, kind of in that era, they had this weird little twitchy effect to the first person camera. The bike would just kind of be twitching around. You could just tell like they didn't put the right amount of work into making the first person camera look right. I think it was MXGP 2019 maybe, where the first person camera was just absolutely terrible. I can't remember exactly which game that was, but so yeah, I wanted to come in here and check this out in Supercross 4 specifically. So from what I'm noticing right away, this feels decent. Like, you can tell that somebody has came in here and tested this. It doesn't, instantly give you nausea. It's not like the camera's all over the place. It stays on frame of the bike pretty good. Oh, that's a Huck Daddy in first person. That's kind of cool. You can just tell, like, there's been some work put into it. Keeps the front fender in frame. There's not like a weird little glitchy buggy thing to the physics that makes the first person camera look weird, There's nothing really like that going on from what I can see so far. The first thing you're going to notice is it is a little tricky you just kind of got to learn how to corner in first person. That's kind of going to be one of the first things you notice. It's a little bit different cornering in first person than it is in third person, obviously. But there's some skill gap to it. It's a cool little... you can see me right here kind of struggling a little bit. There is some skill gap. Of course, I haven't played any amount of time in here in the first-person camera. If I did, I'd be, lasering around this track right here. But just wanted to kind of get the first impressions of the first-person camera here for you guys. For some of you guys that just, you either haven't rode with it yet or you don't have the game yet or whatever. The cornerings, it's got a little bit of a learning curve to it. I love how they've added more of that leaning forward and backwards effect to this game. Gives you more of that seat bouncing effect, and it feels really cool in first person. Like, feels really cool going up a jump face and leaning forward, forward, or just backwards and then forward. It really feels cool how it feels like it's actually affecting the bike when you do that, whereas in a lot of previous Milestone games, it didn't really matter how you leaned. It just didn't affect the physics of the bike. It just didn't affect the inertia of the bike at all, So it's cool in that sense on, like, specifically this jump right here. You really feel like you got to kind of lean back and seat bounce it. Step, lean back. Got a lot of drip. That song's pretty badass. ASAP. Got some little ruts forming in the corner there. Don't worry, boys. We got a rut tester video on the way. Ruts form in this corner like crazy. But this jump right here is another one where you kind of feel like you got to really seat bounce it to get that triple in. This doesn't just feel like you're, coasting around the track and hitting everything perfect without even trying. Like, you got to think about what you're doing. You got to actually there was my ghost sitting on the starting line there. You got to actually think about what you're doing. You got to lean a little bit. You got to do some maneuvers on the bike to get it to do what you want it to do. So it's cool. It's got a cool little feeling to it. There's a little whip for you boys. Definitely pretty impressed with this. But yeah, like I said, MXGP 2020 seemed to have had I just hopped in there for a minute on its first-person camera, and it seemed to have been better than it felt in some previous games. So I think that's kind of where the upward climb started with their first-person cameras, was probably MXGP 2020. I think that's where they started to kind of iron out some of those bugs and stuff that they was getting with some of the previous Milestone games. But yeah, there's look at all the roughness right there. Holy shit. I don't know if I created that from the terrain deformation or what, but it's got that corner tricky as hell right there. But this would be cool to have like a first person only championship, and I could definitely see some guys doing that. It's not making me nauseous. It's just a fun little experience. Feels a little more skill gappy than the first or the third person, version mode of playing the game. As per usual, normally the first person modes are just more skill gappy, more difficult. Because you kind of got to know like where the bike is in relation to the tires on the ground, and the wheels on the bus go round and round. Okay, yeah, but yeah, just like the way you kind of lean into the corners feels pretty good, feels pretty natural. The whoops are pretty easy as per usual in these milestone games. You just kind of lean back. I could pretty much probably wheelie like every single one of these whoops. But yeah, there's like a little rough spot right there. Damn, Spency Boy's gonna have to get on the gas on that. That's a fun little. It's kind of like turns into a flat corner, but there's like a shitload of roughness coming out of it, so creates a little bit of a skill gappy feeling. A little bit of roughness forms in that corner too, so makes that just a little bit more tricky right there. But okay, you can kind of wheel tap that a little bit. All right, see if we can throw another whipski. Ooh. So that was the turning both thumbsticks the same direction. Not really sure what it would do. Both thumbsticks opposite direction is going to do kind of like that, you know. But this section right here is pretty tricky too. Just getting, I like the jump face size. It really, especially in first person, it really gives you that feeling like you're hitting a big old Supercross jump. You know, you're really hitting a peaked out Supercross jump. Really makes the main triples feel kind of scary and blind and like you're really hitting a good sized jump. And I really love this inside rut. Look at this inside rut right here. That's pretty sick. Damn, that would be the line. Railing that inside rut all the way around and still being able to hit the triple in there. That would be tough in first person. That would be tough, no doubt about it. But, yeah, guys, either way, I appreciate all the support on these Supercross videos. These always seem to pop off pretty good. I've got like over 10,000 views on that first impressions video. I appreciate all you guys on that. I have been looking at the comments. I appreciate all the support. It means the world to me, man. We're just got moved into my new house and we're getting everything going. I'm going to get back to the live streaming and everything like that. Just got to get a little bit faster internet than what I have right now. And I'll be getting back to the live streaming and getting back in my Discord and all that kind of stuff. Just be a little patient with the Spency Boy. I know I've been saying that, but it's just sometimes it takes a little longer than you think to do things because people don't get back to you when they should and all this other shit that I've been dealing with. So, oh my God. Had a little weird thing happen there in the whoops. I don't know if that was a bug or what, but look at how like ruddy that's getting right there. Look at that. God dang. That's cool though. I like that a lot. Okay. But yeah, you gotta, there's that triple. You definitely have to think about what you're doing here in first person as far as like getting that straight drive traction. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to see me kind of bouncing around when I go into that corner and I can just barely get that finish line. You definitely got to think about what you're doing here in first person, or, you got to know how much, you got to feel the traction under the bike if you really want to be able to hit some of these jumps. But like that main triple right there feels awesome. Feels like you're actually jumping up off of the ground, You can see the ruts forming in the jump face right there. That's pretty cool. Got to be careful. Don't want to hit this corner too hard. That's one that you can kind of overshoot if you're not careful. But you can see me leaning on the bike. I mean, I'm leaning all the way back, forward and backwards on these jump faces. Like, I am seat bouncing the bike when I'm coming off of these jump faces. So, there is definitely a seat bouncing element to this game, which has been so needed in these milestone games. We had it a little bit in Supercross 3, but now we're hitting that 3 in pretty consistent here. And then you just got to kind of do a double here, and then you can jump out of that. You could take this finish line a little more wide, make that finish line a little bit easier to hit. I kind of like to land on this table in a wheelie, and then just jump off like that. It's kind of got to be able to turn pretty sharp if you want to hit these corners hard, But they got it pretty decent as far as the freeness of it. You know, it feels pretty free. You don't feel like, oh, I can't corner because the bike feels restricted, or oh, I can't do this because of whatever, you know. Feels pretty free, man. Let's get it in this. Oh my God. Yeah, that's pretty badass. I think I actually turned the tear-offs off. So, yeah, this would be like probably full mud, not pulling the tear-offs at all, full dirt on the screen. This is probably about the vibe that you would get from that. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of sick, not even gonna lie. They ought to make it to where you just can't. I thought whenever you turn tear-offs off, it just didn't even have this shit come up on the screen at all. I thought that's the way it was, but apparently not. But either way, that looks pretty cool though, dude. So then you get back to the basic first-person camera here. But either way, that's pretty much the main gist of it. Feels better than it has in previous milestone games for sure. I know it started to feel a little bit better in MXGP 2020, but this feels pretty good here, man, as far as a first-person camera. And I do think you can actually, yeah, you can customize it too. I don't know if this may only be customizing the third-person camera. Yeah, it's kind of what that looks like. So I don't know if you can actually customize this first-person camera in particular here. Kind of looks like you can't, so... But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.